Hey everyone, how you guys doing? This is Brian Piper and Ryan Klein from Diamond Audio in Serwin Vega.
What's up?
We are here at the SEMA show 2022, and with us we have the very bearded Sam Walker from Walker Audio, who is a great friend of Ryan's, and I've learned that he does great work with motorcycles. He's done some beta work with us, and
the brand. Don't forget the brand.
The brand.
Friends of the brand.
He is definitely a friend of the brand of Diamond Audio, I would say. Did some great work with him a while back. Ryan and I did of testing some unique stuff on motorcycles, so that we know what tunes do when we flash a bike, and that was kind of fun to be able to do that. Sam, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us about your shop, what you do.
All right. My name's Sam Walker. I own Walker Audio Design based out of Nampa, Idaho, which is 15 minutes west of Boise, Idaho. Is that better? Started business in 2021, January. This will be your second year technically in business. Left the retail side of things after 16 years. I think I was at Car Toys for 16 years.
Wow, okay.
Did a couple of mom and pop shops for a few years before that. Audio, 12-volt audio is all I've done.
Okay.
I've never really done anything else other than audio.
Okay.
Yeah, so Sam's known for doing a lot of motorcycle work in the Pacific Northwest, but he's also does some pretty darn good work with cars as well. So
yeah,
all 12 volt.
I started specializing in motorcycles after about 10 years in the industry. I've ridden motorcycles my entire life, since I was 3. Started doing dirt bikes, young age. Started riding dirt bikes on the street at a young age.
I think we all did that.
Yeah.
Right? I think we all did that.
Yeah, and then it gradually just turned into street bikes, sport bikes. I got into Buells. My whole family's ridden Harleys and bikes their entire lives. And then when my dad passed away, I actually inherited his Heritage Softail, and then that's where I kind of got into the Harley side of things. When I was working at Car Toys, we actually had a designated bike guy for many, many years. Everybody took their bikes to him, and he did some pretty good systems back then. But that was, we were using the Alpine PDX amps and stuff like that before there was mini amps, and in the last 10 years, the whole bike game's changed. When he left the company, they were like, well, Sam rides Harleys. He works on 12 volts. Like, let's just stick him into it. So that's actually how I started.
So you became the default guy because you had a Harley and did car stereo.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I started building the business with Car Toys and building, that motorcycle audio brand with them. And that's actually how I met Ryan about 5 years ago, I think now.
Something like that.
Met him at one of the trainings, and the VP of the company was like, hey, you got to come meet Ryan at Diamond Audio. He's talking about all this bike stuff and motorsport stuff that they're coming out with. Like, we want you to focus on that, demographic with Ryan and see what we can do. And then Ryan got me hooked up on my 09 Road Glide. We did a huge system in that. And
that thing was crazy.
Yeah, and my bikes have all been Diamond Audio ever since.
Wow, okay, that's really cool. Yeah. That's cool to know.
Yeah, that bike was fun.
Yeah.
This new one's even more fun, but it's kind of our go-to test pilot car.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, pretty much anything new that comes out.
We put it on that bike first, make sure it's good, then we bring it out to the public.
So that's a question I have for you, because when I was a retailer, I got approached a couple times about doing beta testing and alpha testing and stuff like that for a vendor. And as a business owner, it's like these little things that you get to check off of a list, right? And when a manufacturer comes to you and says, hey, we want to use you to do this, how does that make you feel to know that you're trusted enough? Because to me, that was a big deal to be trusted with that information before everybody else had it.
Yeah, it's an honor. Like, honestly, for Ryan to say, hey, I got this speaker. We're gonna get it tooled up. We're gonna get a demo here. I want you to put it in your bike and tell me what you think. I mean, that's a lot, to me. And Ryan probably brings it to me because I'm going to beat the crap out of it just to see what he's going to do. Because I ride my bike almost every day. I beat the crap out of stereo system almost every day. that purple bike that I built, it's been done for 5 years. It still has the same 3 micro
amplifiers. It's got the original product
Wow.
in it. None of it's ever blown.
And those amplifiers have been through hell, to be honest. Like 115 degree weather, 80 miles an hour, full blast from Boise, Idaho to Seattle, Tacoma.
Wow.
And never skips a beat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just beating the crap out of that stuff. And, Ryan's like, hey, run it until it doesn't
Until it
run
dies.
anymore.
I
And-
said try to break it, so he's been trying to break some stuff we're working on right now.
Yeah.
Good news is it's holding up, so that's a plus.
Yeah, that says a lot for us.
We like to do things, we like to abuse the product so that we know that when it does get in the field, it's going to last forever.
Right.
So one of the things that nobody understands that we do a little bit different than some of the other manufacturers, like, woofers have to be tested a certain way, and, it's a 5-hour minimum to get your ratings, and we do 24 hours. But some of our stuff is so hard to abuse that we do 36, 48 hours of testing at constant power, and they work fine. So it's kind of, for us, we know that this motorcycle stuff is going to get abused, and so we like guys like Sam when it comes to testing things, because he jumps on that thing full volume and just mashes out and it takes off.
Right.
I mean,
I've had a couple of neighbors not happy with me when I'm torture testing stuff for us.
Oh, yeah.
Coming by going, I can hear that, at the under end of our street.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a little different when you put it on a bike or a car and you go run it and just really show what it'll do.
Yeah, when I'm running this stuff, the equipment's out in the elements. When I was living in Washington, because I was there for 36 years of my life, I ride my bike anywhere between 20 to 30,000 miles a year, which is a lot.
That's a lot for a bike.
If you're in Washington, the weather, the rain,
right.
the cold.
Yeah.
And I'd leave the bike, it'd just be sitting outside, getting rained on, touchscreen radio, all this stuff. And everybody's like, why do you do that? I said, to prove a point. Like, this bike gets ridden.
Right.
I put 30,000 miles on this bike this year. Rain, a little bit of snow sometimes, sun, and it just, we go out to the beach. It's out on the sand. Like,
right.
It just,
right.
it never skips a beat.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see, like, the beginning of the year, like January 1, go out and take a picture of the mileage on your bike.
Yeah.
And then December 31, go out and take another picture of the mileage on your bike.
Well, I know he rides it to work every day.
So
it rides a little shorter
just,
than it used to be, but he still rides it every day.
It's just one of those things where you prove a point. Like, here it is, 365 days, and this is what I did.
Yeah.
Well, and when I first bought that 09 Road Glide, I bought it from, what was that, the Harley dealership in Fife, and they give you a free 1-year membership to HUG, which is the Harley Owners Group, and they keep track of your mileage. And that first year that I had that bike was like 33,000 miles.
Wow. They're going, do you ever get off? You sleep on your bike?
The best part was like, if you're slow at work one day, you just jump on the bike and
Go for a ride, right?
I'll be home. I'll be home by dinner, and you leave at 2. You got a 5-hour ride. You can put down some miles in 5 hours.
Yep.
So I guess, like, for you, so I'm a musician. I play drums and I play guitar and stuff. So when I'm having a bad day, Jason credits over there. Extreme close up. When I have a bad day, I jump on my kit.
Yeah.
And I'll play until I can't pick my arms up.
Yeah.
So it's probably similar for you. You get on the bike and that's your you let everything go.
Yeah, I put on some of my favorite music, and you can just get lost, just ride.
Right.
And I've always liked my music loud, ever since I was a little kid. Me and my best friend from junior high, we actually used to take apart, different speaker headphones and stuff, and we'd build a little box that we'd strap to our backpack, and we'd put in the little inline amplifier deals to our cassette players, and we'd just jam out in the
there you
hallways,
go, right on.
That was, like, audio has always been my thing ever since I was little.
Yeah.
Pulling stuff apart and building stuff, and I've always been really good with my hands, so that's what I just kind of rolled with. It's never been something that's paid a ton.
Brian said you were good with your hands.
Maybe I did.
It's never really like
Maybe I didn't.
paid a super ton of money, a ton of money, but the idea of like being happy of what I do every day
Right.
is more important to me. You know, I get to listen
Absolutely.
to music, I get to work on cool people's cars.
Yep.
You know, a lot of the times, like, you get into an industry because you're good at it, and a lot of people will kind of move away from the 12-volt side of things. And for me, it's all I've ever done because it's all I've ever really been passionate about. you know?
Right,
So
right.
I stick with it, and I try to help out where I can. You know, like you said, the partnership between me and the brand of Diamond Audio has been awesome.
Hang on a
These guys
second.
out here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to that point too, you know, is I think the common theme here is Diamond has been known as the high-end motorcycle brand, and we do rider bikes, but probably better than anybody else does. You know, you can hear in the background, you can hear some of these custom bikes. You know, if we turned on ours, I think it might drown them out, but wouldn't be able to hear ourselves. So you
Right.
also got to remember too, like, you know, a lot of these guys are building systems, these custom bikes. Just remember, the everyday bike rider is a rider bike, and you know, that's
Right.
where we excel the most. So
Well, I think, you know, that custom bike becomes a niche, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, Ryan and I go back to
you
the
ain't
days
riding
of,
that bike every day.
you know, sound quality and SPL competitions and stuff like that. But that was a niche, right? And,
Yeah.
you know, I get, like, in the 90s, there was a lot of competition, right? Car audio competition that drove certain things to be developed in the industry. Nowadays, it doesn't have the same effect because even with motorcycle competition, it's such a tiny percentage of the industry that companies like us, we have to look at where is going to be the best benefit for us as a business.
Yeah.
And rider bikes are what matter. You know, it's guys like you and guys like your customers that get on their bike every day and put miles.
Yeah.
They're not hauling them on a trailer. They're not dragging them into a parking lot. It's the guys that put miles to enjoy the ride.
And when I was in Washington, you know, the weather's not as good as where I'm at now, towards the Boise area, and you know, we'd build rider bikes in Washington.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
people would be out there. I'd do, you know, a couple hundred bikes a year on average. And when I came out to the Boise area to look at a shop to, you know, move to, because the plan, you know, we started looking in 2018, 2019. We had started looking at shops out in the Treasure Valley area, from Caldwell to Boise, to try and, you know, get myself established there, come out there, start working, kind of get a feel for things. And I'm not bashing any of the shops that are in the area, but there just wasn't enough motorcycle affiliation with any of those shops.
Right.
That I didn't want to go there and build another business for somebody else's shop. And so at the end of the day, it turned into me and the wife having a conversation, and I was just like, hey, I really feel like if we are going to move to Boise, instead of working for a shop, we should just start our own.
Yeah.
And, you know, end of 2019, we had planned on moving in March of 2020. COVID happened, everything got shut down. It was a really weird time to try and move and start a business.
Right.
I mean, even in January of 21, when I started the business, it was
That was still
very weird,
right. Yeah, that's
you know?
still a very, very difficult time because even though COVID was kind of slowing down, the mentality of people wasn't.
Yeah,
It was
for
it was
sure.
still lockdown and masks and you can't go anywhere, you know, and that's
We were
crazy
kind of
how that-
lucky though; it wasn't that bad for us. But it
Yeah.
was, but business-wise, it was. But you know, one of the things Sam did that was kind of beneficial for himself, and I've noticed because I live in the Treasure Valley, I live in the Boise area, and I'm doing it myself with being a part of the Chamber of Commerce and things like that. But one of the things I really respect that Sam does is he goes out and he does all the charity rides with the retired, the VAs and the retired military and the police officers and all those guys, and so that's kind of cool too. I know that's one way to get your name out there,
Develop those
let
relationships,
people know
yeah.
that, hey, like I'm here and I support you, and there's not enough of that goes on in this 12-volt business that we have.
Yeah.
But one of those things that's very grounded to America is Harley Davidson.
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
and they really appreciate those people that give back or they're try to be a part of the community.
Yeah, and I try and focus a lot. Like when people go, hey, are you open on Saturdays? I tell them no. I said, unfortunately we stay closed Saturday and Sunday because we like to run at least one, maybe two charity type events during the weekends. If we're not on the ride, then a lot of the times we will go cook for the ride.
Support it somehow.
Yeah, we'll go down there. I go buy all the fresh ingredients. I set up my Blackstone. If anybody knows me has heard anything, I do really good on a grill and on a Blackstone.
Right.
I heard that. Yeah, I kind of heard stories.
So what I like to do is, I'll go cook for the guy, for the ride in the morning. I set up a tip, like a donation jar. I shouldn't say tips, but like a donation jar. You come up, you get a breakfast burrito, you put what you want in there, and I donate that back to the ride.
There you go.
I try and do like First Responder Tuesdays once every other, 3 to 5 weeks or so.
Yep.
I'll go pick a first responder place, and I'll go cook for those guys, whether it's breakfast,
that's cool.
lunch, dinner.
Yeah.
I throw everything in the back of my truck, I head out, I go cook those guys dinner. A lot of my family has been first responders or military.
Yeah.
Whether they're police, Air Force, Navy. My brother is a firefighter at the Caldwell Station. So I try and give back to as much of that community as I can, just because they do so much for everybody.
It's funny you say that, because my daughter, there's been a few times during COVID, my son and daughter, their birthdays are in May, and so we were going to do a birthday party for my daughter, and one of the big things they were offering to do was the fire department would come by. They would do like a drive-by, right, and wail the sirens and all of that. And so I had one planned for them to come by, and I get a text from the chief, and he's going, well, we can't make it yet, we got a call. And so like 4 times that night while we're having our birthday party, they got called out, so they never got to show up. And so afterwards I told her, hey, look, I tried to do this, because she wanted it. And I said, but they kept getting called out.
Yeah.
And so she goes, well, they're doing their job and they're saving people.
Yeah.
And I said, well, right. And she goes, well, then how about we take them some desserts this weekend?
There you go.
So we went and got all the stuff, and we made cupcakes and cookies and stuff, and we took them to the fire department, and she went and handed everything out. We did a birthday party for my son like the year before, and we did all kinds of barbecue, and we had all this food left over. Yes. And I go, what do we do with it all? He goes, fire department.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we walked over, we drove down there, and we walked up, and here you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
we did that for like my daughters. My daughter turned 23, my oldest daughter, and we did quesadilla tacos at my house.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she wanted. She didn't want me to get her any presents or anything else. She said, Dad, can you make tacos?
Right.
Okay, cool. Tell me how many people are coming, I'll make tacos.
His tacos are awful, by the way. I don't even know what the hell she was thinking. Terrible.
Are they worse than the food here at SEMA?
Oh, way worse. I'd much rather have that.
So we get done with these tacos, right? And there's probably like an 18-pack of tacos still there. And everybody's just full. They're like, I can't eat anymore. And I was like, Kylie, you want to take these? She's like, actually, we're just going to take them. We're going to drop them off at Uncle Bryan's work at the fire department. I was like,
awesome.
Awesome. So she kind of takes over some of that stuff too, and she works in, she's a caregiver, so she, she's kind of in that same mentality where she likes to help people. So.
Yeah, well, I think it's crazy to understand how many people really are just givers.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you. Ryan, we've been talking a little bit about how much you're helping us with product development and testing and stuff, but you guys did something that was kind of unique for Sturgis. Ryan picked up a bunch of our product, and you guys and a couple other teams trucked out to Sturgis. And tell me a little bit about what it was like to work. I guess essentially you worked for Diamond Audio in a way.
Yeah. So I mean, the way that I like when people are like, "Oh, so you're in Sturgis?" I said, "Well, kinda." I said, Diamond Audio handpicked a couple of shops, and we're all working together underneath the Diamond Audio tent.
Right.
And they're like, well, how does that work? I said, well, we go there. The shops that you guys handpicked, we all believe in the company. We all believe in the product. And, we all were like, yeah, let's do this. And, we were there for 10 days or something.
11 days of installing. We were there for 13 days.
11 days of installing. I'll tell you what, the heat and the humidity
was brutal. Oh, God. Please don't do that again to us, Sturgis. We'll be back
but
again
it was an
next
amazing
year.
experience.
Don't ever do it again.
I live 10 minutes from the beach in Texas. You get no sympathy from me.
Yeah.
I mean, this was like 108 degrees and like 68% humidity.
It was
That's
ridiculous.
my life.
Which is like
was
something,
awful.
you know, when you're in Boise, it's
Right.
like 0% humidity.
Right, yeah.
It was
You guys
awful.
are dying.
It was awful.
Yeah.
I remember Ryan in Orlando just like, I don't know.
I
He almost didn't make it home.
I almost died.
Yeah, it was
It was
super
bad.
rough. But, you know, the crew that we had together, we pulled it off. We did a good job. We all went home with some money. We all went home with smiles on our face.
Yeah.
How was it like being in that community of I mean, Sturgis has kind of an interesting reputation,
Yeah.
so it would be interesting to see what your perspective on the community there.
The biker community is different than like the rally community.
Yeah.
When you're out doing these big rallies, I've now done obviously Sturgis, Daytona Bike Week. What's the Street Vibrations in Reno a couple of times.
Okay.
And then there's the Laughlin River Run. Gone down there and done that. So I mean, I've traveled and done some rallies.
Yeah.
I did a couple small ones out in Washington. You know, if anything ever happened and I ever needed anything, I could literally probably ask anybody on the street and they would help me. You know, the biker community is real big on helping people. Even when they get together at these huge rallies, like, you know, the rallies are kind of overwhelming, but at the end of the day, like,
It's a lot.
You're still talking to a biker that is in love with a motorcycle that you're there working on. You know?
Okay.
Like, everybody's like in tune, everybody's in sync, everybody wants the same thing. They want to ride their bikes and they want to have a good time.
Yeah, I don't think I've met a single person who was like super bitter and upset, and everyone's in a good mood. Everyone's there to just kind of hang out and party with. To watch just our drive home every night. You know, you'd be done at like 6 or 7 o'clock at night, and you'd hit the highway. And we were staying in Rapid City.
Yeah, Rapid
So we had about a 40-minute drive down the highway, and it leads off to some big rides, like you go to Rushmore and things like that. But it's just crazy. Like, I've never seen anything like that in my life. You're driving down the highway, and all of a sudden there are hundreds of motorcycles.
Yeah.
Hundreds
Everywhere.
of motorcycles. And so it was interesting for me. I mean, Sam's done it before. This was my first one. It blew me away. And it blew me away how nice all the people were.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, no one had a bad attitude. Everyone was just there to just have fun and kind of hang out together.
That's really cool.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
everybody shows up for the same goal, ride
Yeah.
their motorcycle, spend as much time as they can hanging out with people, and having a good time. Nobody showed up to Sturgis to not have fun.
Right. Nobody showed up to start a fight. They all just showed up to
Anybody
have a
who
good
thought
time.
that anytime you show up there, it's just going to be nonsense and lawlessness, they're out of their mind. It was unreal. It was super cool.
I've never been there, and that's kind of, like I've seen some of the shows on TV and stuff like that, and that kind of leads you to believe that it's similar to that.
Nothing like it.
So for you guys to have that experience and be able to go, no, it's nothing like that. That's
you do have that stuff. So like when you look at the reality TV shows and they're talking about how look at Sturgis, we went to Full Throttle, all these fights broke out, all that stuff. I mean, that's no different than getting a large group of people anywhere. Right?
Yeah.
A couple people having too many
Yeah.
drinks at any concert and there being a small fight.
Yeah.
When you watch the reality TV show stuff, it focuses more on like the dramatic side of things.
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
fights and stuff.
That's why I was saying, to know that what actually happens versus what somebody like me has only ever seen on TV or heard from other people, that are into that rowdy crowd.
Yeah.
It's cool to understand that it's very different than what you expect.
Well, maybe one of these days, maybe next year, we can get Ryan to get us down for the Galveston show. I don't think that's too far from you, right?
No, the Lone Star Rally is very close to me. The only drawback we have to it is it starts.
It's right now.
It starts tomorrow.
Or tomorrow,
It starts tomorrow. So that's why we're not going to be there.
Otherwise, we would just do it again like we did at Sturgis. It was such a great experience.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone asked me how was it, and I go, I hated it, I loved it, and I'm going to do it again.
Yep.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I didn't hate it because I had a bad experience. I hated it because the weather sucked. Had the weather been fantastic, we'd probably still be there.
Yeah.
Well, luckily, if we can do Galveston next year, the weather's really nice right now. So it might be warm, but it's not going to be hot.
Yeah, it'd be moderate.
It would be a moderate thing. Galveston, that whole area. I've grown up in South Texas, so that's my home.
We'll go to Arizona this year, hopefully.
Arizona Bike Week.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. That's always a good one.
We'll do. Hopefully, someone's going to do Daytona, whether it's us or I don't know yet. I got to figure out how we're going to handle that one. Logistically, it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, all the way over on the other side.
Oh, God.
Well, you know, and the thing I see with that too, Ryan, is it's not just Bike Week. You've got Jeep Week right before
you got
that.
Everything going on.
You
I know, it's crazy.
Daytona Jeep Beach that happens, you know. So, and for us as a manufacturer trying to play in those both arenas,
it's tough.
It's
real
tough.
Well, like Daytona Bike Week this last year, I mean, it's in March.
It got rained out the whole time. It was miserable.
Right.
The weather can go
we
one
thought
way
we
or
had
the
it
other.
bad.
Yeah, when I did Daytona Bike Week with a friend of mine a few years back, we had, no joke, it was like the entire rally. It was beautiful until it started to get a little dark, and then we get a little bit of rain, and then the last day, like right after we shut everything down and packed everything up, it dumped.
It dumped.
Yeah, so we like barely cleared it. It was awesome the whole time. The
But that's
humidity kinda
Florida,
sucked,
though.
but-
That's Florida.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the, you know, Florida's so unpredictable. And of course, we got told the same thing when we went to Sturgis. It's not when it's going to rain. Or not if it's going to rain. It's going to rain.
It's when
just
it's going
a
to
matter
rain.
of
Yeah,
when
and
it's
how
going to
much.
happen. Right.
Right.
We got kind of lucky. It only rained like, I think, what was it, the second to last day?
Yeah, it rained like two
And
times.
for like 20 minutes, and it wasn't like a bad rain. It was hardly anything really.
Yeah, just
But-
enough to make it a little more miserable in the
just
heat.
as soon as it was done, it was like it was just
You were
so
sticky. You're like,
humid.
can I have a shower again?
Like one of the days we were there, it was like sunny above us the whole day, but we literally watched like this rainstorm just kind of go around us at 180
Yeah.
degrees, and the humidity
Wow.
was horrible.
Oh, it was just awful. I mean, you know, and it's tough too because you're working.
Right.
It'd be different if you were just hanging out, but
Yeah,
for
'cause you
us,
could
like
go
if you were
inside
riding, it'd be
or-
cool because you got at least you get the breeze on you if you're riding. But man, we're stuck under tents working on bikes. I mean, most days we had 8 bikes deep. You know, we had 6 lined up in the bays and a couple waiting, and it
Wow.
was like that all day long. And so there's really like no break. The only saving grace for us was we had a trailer with air conditioning in it.
Go
You
take
know,
a break in the
so
trailer.
everybody thought they were going to die. You just go into the trailer and just sit there for a few minutes, kind of regenerate yourself,
Yeah.
and then get back out there and keep going. But it was constant. But it was good. It was a good experience. We're definitely going to do it again next year.
It's good to hear.
Coolers
It's good to
full
hear.
of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
So-
we brought the
tabs.
smoker, we brought the flat iron, so we cooked right there.
Yeah.
And we never really had to leave. It was pretty awesome. Hold on.
Sorry. It's the beans from lunch. So, another question for you, Sam.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to SEMA before?
Yes.
Okay.
Many moons ago. So the last time I was in SEMA, all it was donks. It was lifted.
Oh, yeah.
Lifted
Back,
over
back in the
those days.
back in the terror days.
Yeah.
Okay, so having not been here for a while, and you know this is your first day here, full day. What do you think?
It's amazing. I love coming out here and enjoying what I've known my entire life. You know, the automotive industry has literally been everything. So coming out here and looking at all this stuff and seeing all these people that I've known over the last 20-some years now, it's always a good time. You know,
Yeah.
you can't go wrong coming to SEMA. You can't go wrong, running into all these industry people and talking to people. Looking at the vehicles that they got, like me and Ryan's son Chase, we were trying to figure out like what was going to be the biggest thing out here, and I said the new Bronco, electric swaps, and old school Mustang Restro mods.
And guess what's out there?
And guess
That's
what's out there? Yeah.
90% of I was like
So-
holy crap, I guessed.
So, how far you go back quite a ways? Were you familiar with Alma Gates from back in the competition days?
Name doesn't sound well. So when
Okay.
I first got into audio, it was all like there was no social media or anything.
Okay.
So like
Yeah.
I don't really know like what was big back then was like the Alpine builds.
Okay. So Alma Gates was a competitor. She was a 65-year-old lady that got into audio competition because another guy upset her son. And so she built this Bronco that like became world famous.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So Ryan pointed something out to me today that I got to actually go see for a minute over in the kicker booth. They have a Bronco that is dedicated to Alma Gates.
Oh, nice.
So
I'll go
I
check
mean,
that out.
so for some of us who go back that far,
Yeah, it's
really
pretty cool to see. So everybody
Yeah.
in TV land, and you get a chance to check that thing out. I'm sure it's going to be all over YouTube soon. But
Yeah.
it is. It's a new version of an old classic.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
So
it
it
is.
kind of gives me chills talking about it because I was a part of the PPI family for quite a while too,
Yeah,
and so that. She was a part of that as well. So we've got some history there too. It's pretty interesting to see. Obviously the motorcycle thing is pretty prevalent here at the show. I'd like to say ours is the best one out here. At least
that's our job to
two
say
of
ours
them.
is the best.
Right.
I think PPI amp was like the first amp that I ever bought brand new.
Yeah, there you go.
I had a unique opportunity to meet her and spend some time with her back in the days of Auto Sound 2000 seminars.
She's an interesting cat, that's for sure.
Got a tour of her facility that she had for a while when Scott Owens and Chad Peterson were there.
Yeah, Scott Owens is actually really big in the bike game right now.
He's been into bikes for quite a few years, but I know he's just kind of evolved into that.
Yeah.
So what's
Funny how that happens, huh?
Right? What's the coolest thing you think you've seen so far at the show?
And then we'll wrap it up.
Let me scroll through my phone real quick. Coolest thing that I've seen.
He's got to go find. He's got to go remember what all he saw.
Okay, so there's gonna be a couple of different things. The hydrogen car that's over in the, I think, Pennzoil booth.
Yeah, Pennzoil's got the what's her name, Supercar Blondie's hydrogen car.
Yeah, that thing is super cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
The welder up semi truck with it's got that Chevy.
It's got
Bryan
our haunted
built.
rod. Yeah,
it's got the haunted rod
that's
on
a
top
little
of
near
it.
and dear to my heart, actually.
Yeah, Ryan,
both
you helped
cars
build
are.
that, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, for those of you who are familiar with us, you guys might actually get to see that car, actually the truck and the car together as a combo at Knowledge Fest in Las Vegas coming up in February.
Nice. So the one I got to say that I think I haven't been around much of the show, but just being here in the North Hall, aside from that Bronco, the one that I really like is this behind our wall over here is the electrified area. That little electric Apache is
it makes me
pretty
want
amazing.
That thing.
Yeah, I'm not big into electric cars. I
No,
mean, I
me
drove my
neither.
first Tesla getting over here from Jason's shop, but that thing is cool.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
The electric swap old school, I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but it's got the Demon logo on the side of it.
It's a Charger.
Yeah, it's got the lightning bolts. That one's probably like one of my favorite cars.
Right on.
Yeah, that thing's pretty sweet. It's that's an old Charger with dual motor front and rear. I'm guessing it's out of a Tesla. I haven't talked to the builder, but I'm just assuming that's what it is. I'm sure that thing is super slow.
It probably can't barely get out of its own way.
Apparently, I was talking to a friend of mine who is a retired police officer. He's actually here at the show with me. He works at the Firebird Raceway by Sam and I, and some guy showed up with a Tesla Plaid the other day and blew away a full-blown race car that's running nitro fuel.
Wow.
It was running 9-second quarter miles, and there's nothing done to it.
Yeah.
So if that doesn't tell you where things are going to go, not that I'm totally into fully electric, I'm kind of a hybrid guy. I haven't jumped on the electric bandwagon yet, but holy crap.
You know, it's funny because I drove that Tesla over here to the booth from Jason Kranitz's shop, and I'd never been in an electric car. But I used to race radio control cars.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what I would expect driving my little radio control car would be. Get on the gas, let off, and it stops. Get on the gas, let off, and it stops.
Yeah.
Very cool.
You don't even have to use the brakes. It was very cool to drive.
Yeah, I was talking to the wife about maybe getting into, because obviously politics, whatever, everybody's kind of moving towards the electric side of things.
Yeah, I'm resisting.
I will too, but, as an industry, we have to evolve, which is why there's a huge section over here.
That's what they're doing, right?
Right.
That's why it's there.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to my wife, 'cause she's obviously half business partners with me, and about buying a Tesla and doing a system and showing people that it can be done. And
I think we proved we can do a cool system in a Tesla, right?
Yeah. One thing that I got to say on that's really cool right out of the gate. I learned through this that the 22 and up Teslas they have a 16 volt accessory battery. Mm-hmm. So we, as Diamond Audio, a lot of our amplifiers take 16 volts, so there's no step down needed.
Yeah, we don't advertise it, but they do.
Yep. So you don't have to do a whole lot of extra to get a stereo system going in one.
That's right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, there's a lot of little hidden gems with Diamond Audio and the gear that you guys produce and sell and get out there. Sometimes you read the manual and you're like, oh, okay, and you go to hook it all up and you're like, oh, this does way more than I thought.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't say any of that.
Right.
This is amazing.
Hey, listen, Sam, I want to thank you for sitting down with us. I really appreciate you coming on and enjoy having you as part of the Diamond Audio family.
Yep.
It's great to have, somebody like you that knows motorcycle, that I can pick up a phone.
Yep.
I do tech support and I do product training, but I have questions.
Yeah.
And so having somebody like you that I can reach out to it helps me do what we do better. So I want to say thank you for that.
Yeah, anytime. And, you know, like Bryan and you guys are more than welcome to call, stop by anytime. You know, my house is open just like you guys' house is open. And I appreciate everything you guys have done for me.
We appreciate you.
Well, Ryan's talked about doing some stuff, us shooting some video together. So hopefully I'll get up to Idaho after the winter, because I don't go to cold places in the winter.
Yeah, well, I was talking to...
Don't be a weenie. It's not that bad.
Yeah, whatever.
Some of my CT family, and was maybe trying to put together a training down in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for those guys.
Yeah. We definitely need to do that. Yeah, Ryan and I have talked about that.
We're
we're
working on that.
Yeah, trying to get it scheduled. So
yeah. So I think it'd be fun hanging out with those guys, getting some more people trained up. I mean, motorcycle audio is just so much more fun.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, you have a great show. Glad you had time to sit down and talk with us.
Appreciate
and guys, we will be doing another podcast soon, and these will get, up posted once we get home.
Yep. Stay tuned.
Thanks, guys.